Welcome back to Football Daily. Today we're running down 10 players who made heroic and surprising returns to the clubs that loved them. Let's go. 10. Arjen Robben. One of the greatest forwards the Netherlands has ever produced, Arjen Robben first caught the world's attention as a teenager playing for PSV Eindhoven, and after signing for Chelsea in 2004 never looked back, lighting up the Premier League before going on to star for Real Madrid and of course Bayern Munich, where he won 14 major trophies across a decade. But his professional career actually started at Groningen. Having grown up in the nearby town of Bayern, Robben joined their academy aged 12 after rejecting the advances of Ajax and broke into the first team at just 16. His speed, supreme dribbling ability and eye for goal making him stand out in the Eredivisie as a teenager. And while he left for PSV at 18, his ties with his boyhood club remained strong throughout his career, as he became an ambassador for the club's foundation and helped open their new academy in 2017. Then in 2020, a year after announcing his retirement, Robben made a hero's return to Groningen, having been persuaded to get back on the field by the club, who used Michael Jordan's The Last Dance documentary to inspire him in their pitch. But rather predictably, the injury-prone 36-year-old limped off 28 minutes into his league debut against PSV. 9. Thierry Henry. The defining player of Arsenal's glory years under Arsene Wenger and a man still considered by many to be the Premier League's greatest ever, Thierry Henry left England for Barcelona in 2007. He'd fired the Gunners to 2 league titles, 2 FA Cups and a Champions League final, and notched up 30 or more goals in 5 of the 8 seasons he spent in England, as well as providing countless assists for teammates and moments of sheer brilliance for supporters. While he never reached his Highbury levels again, he did play a big part in Pep Guardiola's early success at Barcelona, and eventually wound down his career in the MLS. However, halfway through his stint at New York Red Bulls, the Frenchman made a surprise return to his beloved club, re-signing on a 2-month loan deal in January 2012. Within days, he was back on the turf in red and white, scoring a late winner off the bench against Leeds in the FA Cup. Wenger described his return as being like a dream, and while it didn't last long, it magically bookended Henry's legend in North London. 8. Mats Hummels. He may have come up through the ranks at Bayern Munich, but Mats Hummels' career only got going after leaving the Bavarians for Borussia Dortmund in 2008. The young defender quickly became a key part of Jurgen Klopp's legendary project at BVB, playing more minutes than anyone else in the squad across their Bundesliga winning campaigns of 2010-11 and 2011-12, and forming a formidable partnership with Neven Subotic at the back. Hummels' reputation as one of the best ball-playing centre-backs in Europe garnered him a lot of admirers, but he stuck it out with the Schwarzgelben almost as long as Klopp, eventually returning to Bayern in 2016 and getting in on their bully monopoly, much to the displeasure of the Yellow Wall. However, after just 3 years at the Allianz, Hummels returned to Dortmund, later suggesting that winning all the time with De Roten had become a bit boring and that he missed the euphoria of the Westfalenstadion. And he couldn't have timed his return much better. While he missed out on a treble with Bayern, Die Borussen are one of Europe's most talked about teams once again, and Hummels, now entering his twilight years, will no doubt have been buzzing to play with the club's next generation of young superstars. Before we move on to our next club legend, just a quick reminder to subscribe to Football Daily if you haven't done so already, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. 7. Kaká. Following a spellbinding 6 years with AC Milan in which he wowed fans with his ability to score, create and run games with spectacular ease, winning Serie A, the Champions League and the Ballon d'Or as he went, Kaká left the San Siro in 2009, signing for Real Madrid for a then record £56 million. However, unlike most players who end up at the Bernabeu, it wasn't his dream come true. In fact, such was his love for Milan, the Brazilian forward ideally wanted to stay in Serie A. But the fallout from the 2008 financial crisis meant the club needed to sell their most valuable asset. Plus, it was a brilliant career move, or so he thought. Within days, Los Blancos had smashed their transfer record again to bring in Cristiano Ronaldo, and Kaká's time in Spain came to be defined by recurrent injuries and an inability to match his Portuguese teammates' impact, with Mesut Ozil becoming the club's chief playmaker instead. He was never the same player again, and not even a reunion with Carlo Ancelotti in 2013 could revive his career in Spain. Kaká returned to Milan for 1 season and starred at a team of misfits that included Mario Balotelli, Robinho and Adel Taarabt. 6. Wayne Rooney. It's fair to say that when Wayne Rooney left Everton for Man United in 2004, Toffee supporters were not best pleased. The Goodison faithful felt the teenager, who had once donned a shirt proclaiming "once a blue, always a blue," had betrayed the club, and shortly after he left, graffiti appeared in Liverpool reading "Rooney could have been a god, but he chose to be a devil." However, his relationship with the club was never totally broken, at least not for Rooney, who admitted to wearing Everton pyjamas for the duration of his time at Old Trafford. And in 2017, after a 13-year spell in which he won all there was to win with United, he made a surprise return home to Merseyside. However, despite scoring the winner on his debut and netting a memorable halfway line effort against West Ham, the great reunion never truly took off, with Everton stumbling to an 8th place finish under Sam Allardyce. After just one season, Rooney took off for the MLS. 5. Juan Sebastian Veron. Growing up in La Plata, about 60 kilometers down the coast from Buenos Aires, Juan Sebastian Veron came through the ranks at the prestigious Estudiantes, helping the club bounce back to the top tier of Argentinian football before being signed by Boca Juniors. He went on to enjoy great success in Europe, winning silverware with Parma, Lazio, Man United and Inter Milan. But just as his star was beginning to fade at the San Siro, he opted to return to his hometown club and spent 7 happy years with Los Pincheratas before retiring in 2014, when he was elected as club president. It was little surprise, as Veron had achieved true legend status at the club, donating to them while he played in Europe and leading them to the Copa Libertadores in 2009, their first triumph in the prestigious South American competition since his father led the line for them in the late 1960s. And he even made another return to the field as president in 2017, pledging to come out of retirement if supporters bought enough tickets for the club's new stadium, and following up on his promise. 4. Gareth Bale. Tottenham's first genuine superstar of the 21st century, Gareth Bale's rise from out-of-favour left-back to world-beating attacker was frighteningly swift. So much so that when Real Madrid broke the transfer record to sign him in the summer of 2013, it wasn't much of a surprise. But while the Welsh winger had been loved at White Hart Lane, he never fully settled in his 7 years in Spain. He won 4 Champions Leagues and scored the decisive goals in 2 finals, but fell out of favour under Zinedine Zidane, became the target of abuse from fans, and following a scuppered move to China in 2019, became increasingly alienated at the Bernabeu. So when he finally did leave the Spanish capital in September 2020, few were sad to see him go. A return to the club where he was worshipped was perhaps the best remedy, and Bale was given a hero's welcome when he touched back down in Tottenham. Not only that, but Jose Mourinho, a manager who had tried to sign him when he was in the Real Madrid dugout, finally got his man. But what do you make of Bale's transfer back to the Premier League? Let us know in the comments below. 3. Fernando Torres. Signing his first professional contract at just 15, making his full debut at 17, and given the captaincy before his 20th birthday, Fernando Torres really was Atletico Madrid's Niño. By the time he left for Liverpool at 23 years of age, he had already spent over 6 seasons in the first team and amassed almost 100 goals, becoming a figurehead for the future of Spanish football. His output exploded at Anfield and he quickly became loved on Merseyside, but recurrent injuries and an ill-fated move to Chelsea put a downer on his time in England, and the general sense was that he never reached his full potential during what would have been his peak years. But he was never forgotten by fans of Los Colchoneros, and when he re-signed for the club on loan in January 2015, 45,000 supporters packed into the Vicente Calderón for his unveiling. And while he was never going to get back to the level of his early 20s, the club had reached the kind of stature he had only dreamed of before. They won La Liga the year before his return, and he even started the Champions League final against Real Madrid in 2016, although sadly for him, the penalty shootout was decided before he had the chance to take his spot kick. 2. Santi Cazorla. Perhaps the player best befitting of this video's title, it really was a shock when Santi Cazorla returned to Villarreal in 2018. When he signed, the magician hadn't kicked a ball in almost 2 years, with his recurrent ankle problems leading most fans to presume his career was heading for an early end. But the Spaniard, who had played his part in the Yellow Submarine's mid-2000s success and after leaving for 1 season returned to become a key player between 2007 and 2011, was out to prove the doubters wrong, and did so in style. In 2018-19, he missed just 3 league games, racking up more minutes than all but 2 of his teammates, while only Lionel Messi and Pablo Sarabia beat his 10 assists in the Spanish top flight. And he repeated the trick the following season, hitting 11 goals and 9 assists in 35 appearances and reminding everyone of his genius with a number of mesmerising displays. Needless to say, we were all sad when he decided to up sticks for Qatar, but at least he left La Liga on top of his game. 1. Claudio Pizarro. One of the most reliable goal scorers in Bundesliga history, Peruvian striker Claudio Pizarro signed for Werder Bremen when he was 20 years old and quickly made a name for himself in the German top flight, scoring a hat-trick on his second start for the club and hitting 19 league goals in his second full campaign. This prompted a big money move to Bayern Munich in 2001, where he was similarly prolific, hitting double figures in 5 straight seasons and helping the Bavarians win 3 league and cup doubles in the process. In 2008, he returned to Bremen following a season at Chelsea and achieved heroic status back at the Weserstadion, hitting 88 goals in 144 appearances and becoming the Bundesliga's highest scoring foreign player in 2010, a record he held for almost a decade before Robert Lewandowski broke it in 2019. This great form saw Bayern come in for him once again in 2012, and at the age of 34 he played a cameo role in their historic treble win, scoring 4 times in the Champions League and contributing to a goal every 59 minutes in his limited game time in the Bully. But even then he wasn't done with heroic returns, going back to Bremen twice more before finally hanging up his boots in 2020, having helped the club avoid a first relegation in 40 years. He has since become a club ambassador back at Bayern. So those were our 10 club legends who made shocking returns, but what did you make of it? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave it a like and of course subscribe to Football Daily if you haven't done so already. And we'll see you next time.